On today's episode, it's going to be a short one, but I got some really great tips for you when working with Analog Efex Pro, specifically using the motion blur filter. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. Everyone who watches my videos knows how much I love creative blur, and I love the motion blur filter in Analog Efex Pro. And I was playing with it the other day, and I came upon a really cool discovery, and I wanted to share that with you by way of a really cool tip today. Before I get started, guys, this is a shameless plug, and this really helps me out. If you go to my Joy of Editing channel, which obviously you have because you're watching my videos, when you click on my videos, you're going to notice in the description area, if you click on Show More, you're going to notice I have affiliate links for the software I use and recommend. Now, you can click on these links and you can go and purchase software. Now, if you purchase Topaz software, you save an additional 15% off anything. If you go to Luminar software, you'll save $10 off Luminar AI or Luminar 4. I don't have any extra savings on DxO software like the NIK Collection or DxO PhotoLab 4. But if you click on these links, you can go there, check out the products. You can buy the products. I make a small commission. You don't pay anything more, but it helps me and it helps my channel and it helps me to grow. And anybody that uses my links to purchase software, I just want to thank you very much. It really helps me. Well, enough of that. I want to show you this really cool tip inside of Analog Efex Pro. I think you're going to enjoy it. Now, there's two different ways of launching Analog Efex. You can come up here to Filter and find your NIK Collection and come to Analog Efex Pro, click that and launch it. Or you can use the NIK Selective tool. Now, I don't have it on my screen right now, but if you don't see it, you can come up to File and come to Automate and click on NIK Selective Tool 2. That's if you have the newer versions of the NIK Collection. And this tool comes up here. And then you could simply launch any of the NIK Collection right from here, which is really cool. So I'll go ahead and do that today. I'll just click on Analog Efex Pro 2. Let's click that and we'll open it up. By the way, you don't have to duplicate your background layer when you're running any NIK product. It does that for you, which is a really nice feature. Now, when you open up Analog Efex Pro, you'll notice right here I have a set of filters over here, and it's basically the Classic Camera 1 preset has been applied to this image here. Here's a tip for you. If you don't want that look right there, of course, obviously you can click a different preset on this Classic Camera here, or you could go in here and choose a different tool combination like black and white, color cast, so on and so forth, okay? But here's my tip. To get, say for instance, you just want to use the motion blur tool, which is what we're doing today, right? So what we do, we'd come here, click this little arrow here, and all you need to do is find the tool that you want to use, and that is motion blur. So I'm going to click motion blur, and when I do, the motion blur tool comes up, and you notice all those other tools go away. Now here's another tip. Once you're done with the motion blur tool and you want to add another tool, what you want to do is you don't want to click on the tool itself, because if you click on the tool itself, it'll remove the motion blur. For instance, watch, I'll click on photo plate, and when I do, motion blur goes away and it's loading up the texture, which is part of the photo plate right there. You see that? Okay, so if you just want one particular tool to come up, you just click on the tool itself, like motion blur, okay? So that gets rid of the photo plate, but motion blur comes up. But if you want to add a tool on top of that, and I hope this makes sense to you, if you want to keep the motion blur and then add another tool on top, what you'll do is you come to the tool that you want, like photo plate, and click the little plus next to it. It'll add it to the stack of tools over here, okay? So you can add as many tools here as you want, but you can only have one instance of each one of the tools. I really wanted to point that out because that can get quite confusing. And now let me show you my tip for using the motion blur itself. Okay, and if you watched my last video, a couple videos back actually, on the motion blur tool, I showed you about this interface here, how you can adjust it. And this is not part of my tip today, but here's a tip here for you. The zoom right here, if you click this, you can go to different zoom sizes. So I'm going to go to 25%. And the reason I did that there was because I wanted to see where the edge of this interface was going out, and I want to pull it in somewhat and maybe pull down on here to make this smaller. Okay. Just wanted to show you that. But that is a tip right there. You got these different zoom levels here. So you can go to 50%, you can go to 100%, whatever. But if you want it smaller, like sometimes you want to see the whole image on the screen, you may want to go to 25%. And then if you just click on the word zoom, it'll go back to fit the screen. So that's another tip. So clicking here fits at the screen. Clicking it again will go to the last setting you had. For instance, you'll notice I changed that from the fit the screen to 25%. Okay, and now when I click it, it'll jump between 25% and fit the screen. So that's another tip. One thing I failed to mention when I was bringing the image into the NIK Collection, Analog Efex, I forgot to tell you, you can use the NIK Collection as a smart filter. So you can work non-destructively. Now, I don't usually work that way. Some of you guys like to do that. I don't really do it that way, but you can work that way with the NIK Collection, which is nice. And now on to my favorite tip of this video, and that is this. Okay, we've adjusted our first motion blur setting, and I told you before in my last video, remember how you can change the angles in the directions. Well, the angle is the direction, right? You can change the direction of the motion, okay? And you can change the amount by pulling this in or pulling this out. And you can also add other blur points, okay? And all you have to do is click here, you add a blur point. But here's my tip for you. There was a balloon right here, okay? So I'm going to add a blur point right here on this balloon. Now, check this out. Here's my tip. If you want to take an area that's out of focus, like this area right here, and bring it back into focus, take this blue dot right here, click on it with left click it with your mouse and drag it the whole way in like so. And voila, guess what it did? It just removed the blur from that point right there, right? Now check this out. I can grab this and I can move it around. Say, for instance, I don't want blur down here. So you can use this technique to remove blur from certain areas. You might say, I don't want the blur under her pants here, but I want it everywhere else. So I can do that. Or you know what? I don't want it on this balloon. Pretty cool stuff, right? But it gets even better. Let's go ahead and add another blur point. Now, I wish there was a shortcut that I could add a blur point. I haven't figured that out. If anybody out there knows how to do it, I thought it might have been Option or Alt clicking on the blur point and dragging, but that doesn't work. So if you know, I don't think there is, but if you know of a way, let me know. I'd really appreciate that. Let's add another blur point by clicking here, and let's add a blur point, say right here. All right. And remember, you can take this direction, like you have the direction on this main blur point going this way, remember? So if I click on here, you can see it. I have the direction going that way. Okay, so if I click on this one, the direction's going the same direction, but I can change it. I can make it go in an opposite direction, but that's not my tip. Here's my tip. Again, pull it in to make the blur go away and say, I don't want blur here. Or I want to remove some of this blur in this jacket here, right on the edge. And see how it has a nice feathering, as it, just really nicely removing that blur from around this point here. Feathers really nicely. So very creative. So I might say, I want that in focus there. And I might want to add another one, and let's add one, say right here. Again, let's pull it in. And see, I can remove the blur from there. All right. But then I want to add some more blur back in here. So let's grab another point, put it right here. And you see that, how I've added that blur back in, and I can adjust the amount I want. So kind of cool. So if you take any one of these added blur points and pull them the whole way in till all you see is this dot, like right here, you remove the blur from that area. Now, if you feel that you're done, you can come down here and click OK. But if you wanted to add some more tools to this and keep on creating, come over to the left side of the interface and say I want to add the dirt and scratches tool. I would click on the plus, and that would add the tool. And it would add it to the stack here. But if you forget what I've told you and didn't hit this plus and you click on the name dirt and scratches, you're like, oh my gosh, I lost my blur. That's not good, right? So all you need to do, it's Command or Control Z to undo it. That'll save you. I know you're going to do it. I mentioned that in the last video, but I'm mentioning it here again because that can really make you angry, and I want you to be happy. Remember, it's all about the joy of editing, not the frustration of editing. Anywhere we can eliminate frustration, that's a good thing. Now, once you're happy with your image, all you need to do is click OK, and that'll send us right back into Photoshop. And here we are back in Photoshop. And notice that our layer has been named for us. It created this layer and it called it Motion Blur AEP2 for Analog Efex Pro 2. Pretty great stuff. I really like that. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please give it a like, share it with your friends. If you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe. Click that bell notification icon. Leave comments, questions. I really love to hear from you. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today on The Joy of Editing.